Hello! In this video, we're going to see how you can install a8s on a Kubernetes cluster by manually applying its YAML manifests. Here on my laptop, I have a Kubernetes cluster that I provisioned with Kind, where we're going to install a8s. So let's take a look at it. kubectl get nodes. And as you can see, there are 3 worker nodes and the Kubernetes version is 1.24. But any reasonably recent Kubernetes version running anywhere, whether on a public cloud or on-premise, would work. In this cluster, I also have the cert-manager already running, as you can see. kubectl get pod namespace cert-manager. And we need this because some of the interactions between the a8s control plane and the Kubernetes API use TLS, so the cert-manager manages the TLS certificates for us. So given this, there's only one missing step before we can finally install a8s in our cluster, and that is to configure the cloud storage for backups. What does this mean? Well, a8s can take backups of your data service instances and upload them to the cloud, but you need to tell to a8s to which cloud storage location to do that and which credentials to use to authenticate. So we need to add this information to local configuration files that will be read when a8s gets installed. For example, here in my editor, I'm going to say that the provider is AWS, which means that the backups will be uploaded to an S3 bucket, and that such a bucket is in the region EU Central 1 and has name a8s shared backups. Besides this, we also need to provide credentials to authenticate. So I cannot show you real credentials in a public video, so I'm going to use fake one. But for example, I will tell a8s to use the secret access key dummy access key to authenticate to the S3 bucket. There are many more configuration parameters that you can add. To learn about them, visit the documentation of the project. So, with all this in place, we can finally apply the a8s YAML manifests to install it in our cluster. Let's do that. kubectl apply customize a8s manifests. And if we now look at the namespaces in my Kubernetes cluster, we should see that there's a new one called a8s system, and this is where the a8s control plane components will run. We can actually take a look at them. kubectl get pods namespace a8s system, and yeah, you can see 3 pods that represents the a8s control plane component. Our previous command also installed in the cluster some custom resource definitions that defines the custom API types describing the data service instances that a8s will provision for us. We can also take a look at them. kubectl get crd label a8s, and here they are. With a8s running, we're now ready to use it to actually provision a data service instance. To learn how to do that, check out the 4th episode of this series.